What's going on? I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year's. Today, I thought it'd be a fun idea to do a breakdown of one of my Gracie Abrams type beats called Your Loss. And yeah, just gonna go over, what I did to it and how I created the guitars and drums and all that business. So, as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to hop in the chat. It could be anything related to this beat or just music related in general. Another thing that I was thinking about before I got on here was the fact that I make no kind of announcement when I'm doing these. I'm like, oh, I've got time today. Let me do this. But I was thinking it might be a better idea to schedule something. So if I was going to schedule these, would y'all want to show up? Just put in the comments below. I know some people like watching them on Rewind, but also, I guess when would be a good time? I don't know. I know people have work and school and stuff. So, so for me, this is my work. So I'm I don't know. I'm just during the day, right? I don't know. But I could also schedule something later on too. So, maybe we'll experiment with some stuff. Okay, cool. So hopping into the beat, the verse sounds like this. Basically straight in. This is the intro, I guess. Yeah, so nothing too crazy. So we have these acoustic guitars that sound like this. And I'll actually show you I'll just show you what I played on that. That's why you guys know I'm not just using splice loops. Actually I don't know. Here, let me look at my OBS so I can. Am I in frame? Yeah. Okay. Basically did this. That's it. Yeah, so that's the guitar part. Recorded that and added in this little pluck thing. This one sounds so cool. But yeah, basically added this in. So the verse is essentially the intro is basically the same thing as the verse. I just have this little riser coming in. Just kind of brings you in nicely. And then in the verse, I'm bringing in these drums. So for the drums, I wanted a flat, muted sound. So I'm using a, basic kind of, drum set. So the drums without any processing sounds like this. Sorry, one more time. The drums without any processing sounds like this. And then I added in a cassette plug-in, which I really like. Gives it this nice lo-fi kind of texture. Almost makes it sound roomy too. And then a tape machine to warm it up. That's the vibe for the drums. Yeah, and you'll notice I have this open hi-hat thing, which is not... It obviously is not. Doesn't sound like it came from a real drum set. But that's kind of what makes it sound cool. It's just sample, I mean, yeah, and this is just so straightforward, just. And then into the chorus. Yeah, let's talk about the chorus. So for the acoustics, I think I went to a full strum. Let's see. Yep. Just kind of opened it up to make the chorus come alive. I added in these electric guitars that sound like this, which I believe I'm doubling. Yeah. Yep. Just these are doing the same thing. Got a nice tone on these. Feels big and wide. Added in a sub bass 8th note. Sounds like this. Added in this plugin called Infinite Bass, which just gives us more low end. Let's see, nice and low. The next thing I did was I added this Mellotron. Just one note. Because sometimes that's all you need. One of my favorite things in this chorus is this little beep that's in here. Sounds like this. Cool, right? And if you just listen to the drums, like all the rhythm elements together. Isn't that fun? Man, so much fun. And I think it says I added a, looks like I have a snare. Yeah. Sometimes the snare needs a little bit more, low end or maybe even high end. Sometimes you have you when you're programming drums, the current snare just isn't enough. So sometimes it's a good move to layer it up. So in this case, I just added in another layer. I commonly do that for kicks as well. So nothing too crazy though. Basic drum layering. Add in a shaker. And yeah. And then so, these are basically the elements that make up the chorus. And it sounds like this. Okay. All right. So with these acoustic guitars going into the chorus, so, originally I recorded 2 different acoustic guitars, so we have like a really wide image. So in the verse, I felt like it was too wide essentially. So, here, I'll say this again. Basically, so, I did a common thing and I tracked this acoustic guitar. And, typically when you do that, you'll track it twice. You'll do like a left and right side. Because if you only have one guitar, it would just sound like this. Let's pan over here to the, if you just had one, it would sound like this, right? But it's nice to do 2, because that way it sounds, big and wide. Like, like you'll notice it sounds wider. But if you if you start your song with everything out super wide, when you get to the chorus doesn't actually like pop. So sometimes what I like to do with acoustic guitars is I like to take a stereo plugin and I like to bring the width in and make it feel more mono. And then when the chorus hits, I open it back up to full stereo, and it just makes the chorus feel really big. So you'll see here. So we have these acoustics that are just sitting, at about, let's see, 36%. And then we open them fully on the chorus to get the whole thing. So much wider. And in context of the mix, sounds like this. Cool. Christina says, how about a breakdown of Bad Habits, the Laney style beat? Yeah. That one would be fun. I think here, shameless plug. I'm gonna go over to my website really quick. Hold on. This is getting in my way. I want to see, because Bad Habits, I think that might be a collab. I think it was a collab I did with Polar. It is. Yep. Okay. I was just making sure. Yeah. So, I'll tell you like just a little story about that beat. So, I basically started writing that. So I started that beat with the guitars, doing the whole thing. And I sent it over to my friend Polar, who is another producer. He actually does beats and stuff as well, but I think he mainly focuses now on like working with, kind of doing like the custom production stuff like I also do. I think he does more of that. And also he's like an artist too. And he's really good. But yeah, so his name's Polar. You can look him up. And so anyways, I sent that to him and he was like, yeah, this is great. I want to collab on it. And he was like, he hit me up a couple days later and he said, oh man, this is so good. He was like, yeah, this is so good. He was like, I started writing to it. And I was like, oh, cool, man. And he starts sending me stuff and I'm like, man, this is actually sick. And he actually has ended up like releasing it. And can you guys see my website? Is my whole screen up here? I actually have it in my credits because it's such a good song. But that beat, Bad Habits, he actually released a song with it, and it's called Skyfall. So this is from like that original beat. It's probably gonna be crazy loud. But yeah, if you want to listen to the whole song, it's called Skyfall by Polar. But that is the beat, Bad Habits. So we released the beat, and he actually released his own thing. But here's a little clip of it. It's so good. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud because I feel like it's really loud in my headphones. Anyways, a little blurb on that. But yes, I don't know if I will break that one down though, just because he did a lot of the stuff on his end with the drums, and I don't think I could really do it justice. I have his stems, but I don't know if I'd be able to break it down. Maybe we could do a collab though. Maybe we could both hop on a call and talk through it. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so the verse 2. Okay, so I changed the bass, it looks like. Yeah, I just changed the instrument, the bass. It's not a huge deal, honestly. So this is, and then the verse bass uses this. Yeah, okay, so this just has like more like mid presence, but nothing really to write home about. It's a moog. You said what parts did he do? Okay, so I think the drums are mostly him. Definitely like there's like a gun thing in there. It's not like a gun like cocking back. Definitely him. But the guitars are pretty much all me. I think there's a couple parts in the verse that he added in, but all the guitar fills, the brown out is me. I haven't listened to it in a little while. It's such a good song too. But yeah, I think at least 95% of the guitars are me. Probably 95% of the drums are his. And probably a lot of my synths. I will say, I think he did a good job. He did an incredible job arranging it and making it like punch super hard. I think initially when I sent it, I didn't send it all the way, but he did, I think, better than I could have like hoped to have done. So that was a good collab. Yeah. It was good working with him on that one. So yeah, okay. So one thing I did, back to the beat, one thing I did do was I added these guitars. So, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Okay. So I added a guitar line that goes like this. So by itself, pretty boring, right? Just acoustic guitar doing whatever. All right, and then we added some saturation and a lot of compression. Yeah, we're smashing it. And then added some chorus and flange to it, just for a little bit of modulation. Yeah, on itself doesn't sound particularly incredible, but in the mix, I think exactly what it needs. Okay, so this lead guitar verse 2, there's a lot of plugins on this. So let's hear with everything off. It almost doesn't even sound like it. I almost thought it was an electric guitar. All right, so we got a lot. There's a lot going on here. Okay, so let's start from the top. So for this sound, we just had this, basic guitar lead playing this. All right, and add a little bit of EQ, cut the lows, boost a little bit of the highs, some compression to, give it a little bit of punch. Added some flange to it. Then we added a filter plugin. So with just this stuff, we have this. That's essentially the sound. So yeah, this plugin over here is getting us about 90% of our sound for sure. And then more compression because I thought we didn't have enough. Sounds good. We added in a tape machine. I don't know why. Okay, and then added some soothe because it looks like we had too much around like 600 or 700. Yep. Added in another EQ. Boost again. All right, and then just a little bit of reverb. Yeah, I mean, so ideally, you really don't want to have like multiple EQs on something. But sometimes you just have something set and you're just like, oh, let's add something else to kind of fix it. So whenever you're working, I don't know, I try to do as much as I can with as little as I can. And this is not a good example of that, for sure. Okay, I will tell you something about this that I do think is cool, is this part. Okay, it almost sounds like someone's yelling in here. Like, if you listen to this, it's what it is. It's a finger squeak, or it's not a finger squeak. It's like a fretted note, like a little guitar, whatever squeak. But the way it gets filtered out sounds really cool. And I think you can really hear it in the beat too. I mean, like, it's in there, you know what I mean? Like, you can hear it. Over here on the left. Wow. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's like the fun stuff about producing. I love, any kind of like mistakes or like little quirks that just like add to, the feeling of the song or the record. I'm all about it. So especially when it's just like organically in there, like you're not trying, you just create something and you're like, man, this little thing in there is creating something that's interesting. Like if I were a listener listening to someone else's song and I heard that, I literally would have no idea what made that song, what made that sound, So that's what's cool. Sometimes when I'm like comparing myself to like other producers, I'm listening to like just other music I like. I try to keep that in mind because it's really easy sometimes to like compare yourself to like other people's stuff and like, man, how did they create that sound? Like what, how did this come about? Like, but sometimes things are just weird and they just appear, and that's amazing, So I try to like not put as much pressure on myself because of that. And then so back to this, we just go to another chorus. I think, is there anything new in this chorus? Yeah, it looks the same as chorus 1, which is cool. No shame in that. I mean, generally I like to have something else, but sometimes you don't always need it. Okay, I thought this was a lot of fun. So I decided to go to a halftime bridge, and, the way I did that is, started with the drums, just giving them that halftime feel, and they sound like this. Yeah, I like that. One of the big things was just open up the hats, because before that we just had, regular closed hats, and then, brought in the open hat and then changed the kick pattern to halftime. Yeah, I like that. Guitar wise, I think these stayed. Yeah, and then basically guitars stayed the same. Drums changed, bass stayed the same, and then we added in this layer of guitar chords, and these sound like this. Yeah. Man, that's some tone. That's some tone. I'm excited about that. And it was all done on the Chroma console, so I really don't have much to show you now, unfortunately. But yeah. Okay. I need to move this over. All right. And then so we go into, I guess that's like a down chorus. Okay, cool. These sound good. So these acoustic drums on the bridge. Let's talk about them. Yeah, so we had these acoustic guitars on the bridge. Originally it sounded like this. Add in a little bit of EQ, room verb, tape machine. That's the big thing. And then added in a stereo plugin. That is doing nothing. And then another reverb. Pretty nice tone on the lead acoustic. Let's see what's going on. Sounds like a delay. Yeah, looks like we got a Logic delay, Logic spring reverb. That's pretty much doing the heavy lifting on this one. So yeah, so these guitars sound like this. These guitars sound like this. That's nice. That is nice. All right. Okay. And then, yeah, into the last chorus. Did we do anything new? Hopefully. So I have something to talk about. I should have restructured this because I can't see now. All right. Man. Yeah, so instead of, the other choruses, we were on the hats. So the drum sounded like this for the choruses. And then so for this last chorus, to give a different feel, we went to the ride or crash? Let's see here. I don't know the drummer. I think we're on like a ride, playing it kind of hard. Oh yeah, and then we brought in this lead from that we originally had in verse 2. So this lead from verse 2, the one with 100 plugins on it, we brought that in for the final section of chorus 3. Sounds like this. Cool. What I like about this one what I like about the leads here compared to the ones in verse 2 is the reason I can see these were chopped up over here is because I cut out the finger squeaks, but I left them in on the final chorus, which I think sounds cool. Maybe it was just the noise. I think it was just the noise I cut out. So yeah, not really a big deal, honestly. Yeah. And then I think that's it, you know. Talked about drums, talked about guitar, talked about bass. You know, this is one of those beats where I feel like I didn't need a ton. It was really more about the songwriting and the parts, you know. I didn't need like a ton of layers, like a ton of synths. You know, a lot of my songs have like big atmospheric things going on, you know. But sometimes it's nice to do stuff that's just, you know, more honest and upfront. And that's one of the reasons why I like this beat, and I think it's kind of unique, you know. Well, anyways, I think it's gonna wrap it up. Oh, Aaron says, "Hey, Aaron, what's up? Just finishing up here. Unless you got a question." But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, hope you guys liked the stream. Let me know, you know, when I guess will be a good time. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I should do like a poll or something to see when people want to get on, because I feel like I just hop on these streams. No one knows I'm going to do it, you know. But I'd like to do them when people can show up and like hang out, you know. So I don't know if like, you know, 7 p.m. or something like that, like late at night. I don't know. I guess I can just ask ChatGPT the best time to get on, and we'll go from there. So anyways, yeah, thanks for hanging, guys. Thanks for asking questions. Love doing these. And comment on this below if there's any specific videos, you know, or beats of mine that you want me to break down. I'd be happy to do so. So anyways, hope you have a great rest of the week. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next one.